So, peppery cultivars, or peppery strains if you still call it strains. But sometimes when you're looking for these flavors, peppery is a loose term. So specifically, peppery, we're looking for a terpene that's going to be called beta-carotene. And I probably butchered how to say that, but that's just what it is when it comes to some of these terpene names. The scientific version is definitely difficult, hence why a lot of people will just go ahead and label it as peppery or gassy or
some shit.
But in particular, today's episode, we're going to be discussing peppery cultivars. So stay tuned.
Like we always do about this guy.
Now, if you're looking to grow some good genetics, you're definitely going to want to have some good equipment. And some of the best on the market to date is definitely going to be AC Infinity. Now, whether it be air control, air quality, lighting, or your tent itself, or the entire kit, AC Infinity has got you locked down, and they continue to innovate time after time again with just amazing products. Now, their products go very fast, well, because they're in high demand. Supply and demand is a real thing, and when you got a supply that's as great as this, you better jump on it quick. And when you do, make sure you use CLtv at checkout and you'll save some money on your order. Big shout out to AC Infinity, and let's get to the video. My name is Rob, and this is CLtv, and we talk all things herb. If you're not a subscriber here already, make sure you do hit the subscribe button if you are a consumer or grower, and you'd like to see more content like this, because we've got tons of videos over on our channel and on our website, watchcltv.com. Now, when it comes with that peppery funk,
Spicy.
a lot of people maybe aren't necessarily into that nowadays, it seems. I feel like the masses are into the fruity, more dessert type of herb, and that's totally fine. That's great. We actually have a video that went over sweet cultivars, and honestly, that may be perfect for you. But for me, I rarely fall into that category. I'm usually, like I said, in the gassy, earthy, peppery, skunky, funky.
Nasty, and I fucking like it.
Now let's get right into it. Now this one right here is one of the first cultivars that I fell in love with. I reviewed it over on CLtv in one of the first episodes that I appeared actually on the channel, and that would be Holy Grail Kush. Now Holy Grail Kush was extremely tasty. This one I feel like is debatable falling within skunky, gassy, to peppery, but the one that I had in particular was a peppery, cushy, funky, unique cultivar. It was one that I was really into, and I would have kept around had she yielded a little bit better and wasn't so finicky. But for this having a cross of Kosher Kush and OG number 18, bringing out that spicy, kind of peppery, fuely funk in it was definitely something that I was after. And out of all the phenotypes, there was only two that really were hitting, but those two were just
so f***ing amazing.
Now I describe this flavor as spicy, earthy, with a peppery funk on the back end, with somewhat of a skunky, gassy aroma to it, but it's extremely pungent and something that you will not mistake when you have it. Now initially when I got this, I had buddies who called it green crack, and while green crack is another one that could potentially fall underneath that spicy peppery funk, I would say that this one was dramatically different.
Has a pungent flavor, it smells good.
Now I originally stumbled on it by consuming some with a buddy, and he had got it from another friend. He didn't know what it was, we were hitting it, and I was like, dude, I've smoked this before. Like, I know this herb. And he assured me that it was not the green crack like I thought it was. Turns out it was Holy Grail Kush. And I went through way too many packs to go over in this episode, but if you'd like to see a little bit more about this one, you can check it out over on our channel, and that's gonna show plant and show more about the flower. It's not the craziest looking flower, but man, was the smoke just next level. The next one for me is a pretty famous one, and a lot of people will claim they have this specific, but that would be Gorilla Glue. Now this could be GG4, GG, whatever you want to call it, but overall that glue was an absolute hitter. Now Trey and I would oftentimes have ones that would be the Dece glue, or the decent glue, the spicy glue, and the fire glue. And honestly, between the spicy and the fire glue, those were the two that lean more towards the peppery, funky, just dank, pungent aroma that I was after, and the flavor translated as well. Now Gorilla Glue, the original Gorilla Glue, is a cross of Chem Sister, Sour Dub, and Chocolate Diesel. Now between the three of these, you're getting a nice variety of funk, but all leaning towards that piney, funky, peppery, gassy, just dankness. Now there also is a lot of good Gorilla Glue crosses, but again, when you're looking for that peppery, spicy funk, now it's hard to guarantee you're gonna get those. A lot of people will have beans available online and they don't fall within that family, but if you do end up getting it, that funk is hard to match. The next one for me would be Wi-Fi OG. Now this was that peppery funk to the max. Trey may disagree with me here.
The fuck you talking about? You know what you're talking about.
And honestly, this is just mainly my opinion, but in the smoke department, this one hit heavily in that peppery, spicy funk. Now this being a cross of the White Fire and Fire OG, Wi-Fi OG really just brought a whole different terp that at the time, I feel like we lost. This was a nice fill-in for a Gorilla Breath that Trey and I were smoking for a while that really hitting the same peppery funk with a little bit of a creamy undertone, but mainly when it came to the funk, peppery was where it was at. It was a decent yielder overall, stretched quite a bit, but when it came down to it, if you did some good training, you could definitely see some nice cola development, overall tight node stacking, and just good yield overall. Trimming was also very easy. Overall, Wi-Fi was one that we screwed up on getting rid of, and I wish we would have kept it. It was a solid genetic, and when it comes to the smoke, it was definitely a hitter. It was hard to pass that in terms of the spicy funk. It was just one that unfortunately didn't make the cut.
Ah, well, hindsight.
And the last one on my list for this episode would be Lost Coast OG. This being across a Chemdog number 4, Lemon Thai and Pakistani Kush, you definitely have a variety of terpenes or expressions that could come from this particular cultivar. Now, depending on the phenotype you had, it definitely leaned heavy towards the peppery, earthy, just sharp funk aroma, and some had a slight citrus funk to them. For the most part, the ones that I had were definitely leaning more towards that peppery, kind of earthy funk, but they were all strong on the nose. This is another one that I kick myself daily that I should have kept around, but when you're younger in the game, you do feel like the grass is always greener on the other side, when most times it's you as a grower that needs to evolve more than the genetics themselves.
Wisdom.
At the time, I wasn't as good with training methods and getting more yield from a cultivar, so that low yield really made me not want to keep it around. And this was in the caregiver days when yield was a little bit more of a factor. Now fast forward to today, and I probably would have kept this one around. It just hit the areas of uniqueness and that spicy, earthy kind of funk that I'm not used to. I'd say the only thing that come close to that would probably be the CLtv OG, and that would just depend on the phenotype that you get. Because some of them lean more earthy, spicy, and some of them had a slight, almost floral funk to it. And again, it just depends on which one that you get. It's kind of like open up a pack of baseball cards. You're not always gonna get the rookie or the best one, or Pokemon for you extra nerds or throwback 90s kids. You're not gonna get that holographic Charizard every time. It is what it is. You're gonna have to go and hunt. Now these are just some of the peppery cultivars that I've grown in the past and I've had experience with. If there's some that you've had that you think I should check out or your other grown should check out, please do me a favor and drop below in the comment section. I've actually picked up a few different cultivars based on your recommendation, and I'm telling you, it helps more than you realize. I've been growing for 16 years and I'm still finding new things out all the time. And once you stop trying to learn, you just stop growing. And in this case, when it comes to new cultivars, there's so many names out there, there's so many breeders out there, but I trust you more than I trust a name or an Instagram picture. So let me know your experience below. If you want to support this channel and continue to help us grow, make sure you check out our Patreon, or you can just simply literally like the video, comment, and share it with a growmie. With that being said, it's your boy Rob from CLtv. Stay lifted. Peace. Growers who are looking for that secret sauce usually are just missing something from their garden. And to help with that, we bring you the Stash Blend Premium Plant Additive. Stash Blend brings beneficial bacteria, silicon, seaweed, humic acid, and has enough macronutrition to help lower the dosages of your base feed too. Unleash your plant's true potential with Stash Blend Premium Plant Additive. Available at Growers House.